Welcome to the Angular from Scratch video series, part 16. And in this video, we're going to discuss how to get data from a GitHub API as fast as possible, which means we'll be cutting some corners and probably not really doing all the best practices that we're supposed to. But the point is just to show in a nutshell the process of how this is done. So let's do it right away. First, let's start at docs.github.com, the page that discusses the API, the REST API for GitHub. Feel free to read it, but basically what we want to do is get the data from this URL, api.github.com/users/someone. So of course you can replace someone with whatever username you want, and you might need to replace it with your name, whatever. But let's stick with this URL for now. So we'll begin by going to the app component TS, and basically the only two files that we'll be using here are app component TS and app component HTML. So let's go to the constructor right here, and we're going to say private HTTP on, and let's make this VS Code window larger so we can work more easily. So private HTTP colon, and then we're going to say HTTP and choose from the drop down here because Angular is offering us HTTP client, or VS Code is offering us autocomplete. So now that we've chosen this one, it's also going to import HTTP client from @Angular common HTTP up on line 1. So that takes care of the HTTP client, which leads us to the, and of course we are adding it to the constructor, so we are making it available here. And now basically we're gonna just add the ng on init, which we've briefly touched upon in a previous video. It's just one of the lifecycle methods, lifecycle hook. So we're going to say this.http.get, and inside of here we're going to give it a string with the URL of the API that we want to get. So now that we have that, we're going to say then. Well, we would say then if this was a promise, but since it's unobservable, we're just going to say subscribe, and we're going to get data, and we're going to console.log data. All right, so I'm going to click File, Save All, back to my Angular app in the browser at localhost 4200, and I can already find it in the console being logged. So we got all this data. We got the name of someone with an exclamation mark, a login of someone without the exclamation mark, and type user, URL, updated at all kinds of different data for this user. So now let's actually improve this code slightly. Well, basically, now we've confirmed that the data is being received by our Angular app, so there are no errors. It's being console logged. So now let's just really briefly discuss how to get some of this data onto the screen itself of the web page. So we're gonna add one variable that we're gonna say gh data. We're gonna call it gh data, gh for GitHub, and we're gonna give it a type of any, and that's it. And now back in here, instead of console login, we're gonna comment this one out, and on the new line here, we're gonna say data, and we're going to say that this.gh data gets all the data that got received. So data is being received from the subscription, and now this data is being assigned to the ghdata variable, which is of type any. So that means that the ghdata variable is now available to our template. So back in here, let's go right here and do an h1. Well, since we can only have a single h1, let's just do an h2. Keep that SEO in check, although you don't really need to, but let's stick to best practices. So ghdata.name interpolated with mustache syntax into an h2 tag. So I'm going to save file, save all. And now I'm going to get the name of my GitHub user. So that's it. I've kept it as simple as possible. I basically just imported the HTTP client directly into the app component class file. And of course, this is not the way to do it. We should have used the service, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is and how quick it can be to get some data in Angular just to experiment with. So that's it. That's all for this video. In the previous one, I've said that we were going to discuss and actually start using NGX Bootstrap, but I wanted to prepare us for fetching data from GitHub, because in the coming videos we're going to be using NGX Bootstrap, and we're also going to be displaying some data from the GitHub API. So that's going to be a little project for us in the videos that are coming up. So that's it. If you like this video, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next one.